So, my dear ones, here we are. Again together on this wonderful Easter Sunday. An Easter Sunday with a difference. And we're all gathered together as one family in our homes, rejoicing that we have an opportunity today to be open and receptive to the message of Easter. And we know what that is. It's rise up. Rise up. And not only rise up, but the invitation is to rise up in splendor as we celebrate this amazing time. This is the greatest day in the Christian year because it is the culmination of the amazing accomplishment of the master teacher, the Christed Jesus. His whole life was all about Easter Sunday and the breakthrough out of the darkness into the light. The breakthrough out of death into lifefulness. The breakthrough and the triumph of love over hate. It is an amazing day and an amazing thing that we are celebrating here today. But as Meister Eckhart would say, it matters not if Easter, the experience of Easter and its rising, is just left to one day of the year and is just something we commemorate that happened 2,000 years ago in a place called Jerusalem. It matters not if that's all it is. You see, the whole teaching and the whole message of the Christed Jesus was every day of your life, every moment of your life is an opportunity to have the grace and the power and the love of God to rise up, the Father within us, and to demonstrate triumph of love over hate, light over darkness, and so on, so much more. So the message of the Christ Jesus was, go and do what I have done. Go and do what I have done. And for too long we sat back in our haunches and said, oh, that was Jesus, he was God, and he could do that. That's not what he said. He said, you too can do what I have done, now go and do what I have done. That was the commission. That was the commission. Go and do it too. Do what? Well, what was his message? Love God, love your neighbor, and love yourself. And he regarded it all as the one love and the one thing. No difference. He said, don't tell me you can love God whom you don't see and hate your neighbor whom you do see. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. He says, don't sinners do this? Don't those people you call the awful ones, don't they do that? More is asked of us because we have been given more and we know a little more. And so this is our time now, if ever there was a time, to rise up and be everything that we can be and roll that stone away from doubt and fear so that we can release the imprisoned light and its power and its grace. Roll the stone away. But we go around like Mary most of the time. They have taken my master away and I don't know where to find him. Well, who is this thing God, and where do you find God? This is what we do all the time. We say we believe this, but in truth, do we? Because if we believed it, faith would be a constant, and we would know that I of myself don't have to do a darn thing. It is the power of Spirit within me, when I get out of its way, that can do all of that loving and providing and making the difference through me. That's all I have to be, is an outlet. All I have to be, actually what we all are really, are distributing centers. We're distributing centers of grace. That's what we're called into being. We just distribute what we've been given, what's already there. I don't have to make it up. I don't have to put it together. I don't have to decide what it is. It's already given, and all I have to do is distribute it. But how is that going to happen? That's the question. My goodness me. This is the day of all days when you and I can move deeper into ourselves and discover the more of ourselves. Because if ever there's time, and I'll keep saying it to remind myself really, that we are called to be more than ever we have been before, to be the moreness, to be, and not just talk about it, not just read about it, and not just listen to it. That there is a power for good in the universe greater than I am, and I can use it as it uses me. And how does it use me? It pours all of this great good into me so that I can distribute it. That's what it does. I'm its outlet. And so are you. And yes, regardless of circumstances and situations and conditions, regardless of how obnoxious I may have been in the past, how dreadful I may have been in the past, how horrible, or whatever you can think of the worst possible thing about yourself you've been in the past, it matters not. That's not who you are, and you never have been it, yes? We've all gotten into naughtiness of some kind or another, but that's not who and what we are. And we need to be big enough to let ourselves off that hook and stop making excuses and saying, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy enough, I'm not able enough, I'm not deserving enough. Well, who told you that? Not the divine. You are my beloved, in whom I am well pleased, yes, no matter how naughty you've been. That's what Spirit is saying all the time. Don't worry, it's a frog. Those people who know me know Freddy the Frog is always with me for some reason. And so, think about that. Do you want to lie down in the tomb of your mistakes, of your unworthiness, and all that goes with that? Just want to see if I have some water here. A drop. It's enough. There's nothing like this. It's called Adam's Ale in Ireland, where I come from. Water. Nothing like it. It's very important, my dear ones, that we get this once and for all deeply rooted in ourselves. My past does not equal my future. Every saint has a past, and every sinner has a future. And this week points that out to us. Now, when we think about the message of Easter being a message of love and upliftment and enlivenment and all that would sing of advancement, alongside of that, there was the message of forgiveness on Friday, Good Friday. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And neither do you, and neither do I, when we're misbehaving ourselves. Because if we knew what we were doing, we would never, ever put one foot astray. Never. Because we would know how that stops us and blocks us from being who we truly are. So I'm saying to us all, this is a day for rejoicing. This is a day for looking out there into the world and saying, yes, there is that which is in the world, but it's nothing compared to that which is within me. And at the same time, behave ourselves sensibly, wisely, and well, and follow protocol. It's amazing how many of us are not doing that. Follow the protocol. Render to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and render to God the things that are God's. The human part of us has to be taken care of as well, wisely and well. It's a beautiful part of us. It's the personality part of us, and it makes us who we really are as that unique personality that we are. But we are in charge of that. The great I am that is within me, the great power and the presence within me is what's in charge of that. We were given this body and this humanity to take care of, and to take care of it well, the same as you would take care of a little child. That's how we're supposed to take care of ourselves. And so when you look to that story, there's so much symbolism in it. Empty tombs and what that signifies. Cannot find the master, don't know where to find the master. It reminds me of, our story still today. Well, where do I go to? Tell me what to do. What book can I read? What class can I take? What methodology can I use, you see? That reminds me of the monk who went to the head monk and wanted to get some advice, but the head monk's day was he had chosen to be in silence. So he went in anyway and he said, I would like to have some advice, with regard to, what's the best way for me to live the best life? I mean, have you any advice for me? Could you give me anything that I can ponder and meditate on? And the monk wrote something on a page and he held it up and it said awareness. And the monk said, well, awareness, I mean, that's not enough. Can you tell me, can you elaborate on that? Picked up the paper and he wrote another word and he held it up and it said awareness, awareness. He said, no, that's not enough. Then he wrote again, he picked up the awareness, 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 and you could see where that's going. That's what he was told, to be aware. And so what he was saying and implying in that is, don't ask me for a methodology, don't ask me for, a way to do it. Just become aware of your life, yourself, your living, who and what you are in it all, and it will be given to you. It will be given to you. But we're like Mary, we're going looking here, we're looking there to find what it is we think we're looking for, and it cannot be found out there. It cannot. That's what keeps us in the tomb of ignorance. It keeps us in the tomb of ignorance. So the invitation is to go into yourself and to find that center core of your being, that light center core of your being, that heart energy of your being, the love light of your being that's always in a pristine state and always on fire, and be in silent and listen to what it has to say. Be in silence. Very difficult in this day and age, it seems, but we're getting an opportunity, are we not, to do that. The thing about this virus is, this virus has confined us to ourselves. It has made us be in our own company and be uncomfortable with that, when we're uncomfortable with that, until we can work through the discomfort and find out who we really are and the stuff we're made of. It's a good that comes out of it. And this virus knows no color, class, creed, or religion. It makes no differentiation. And because of that, it's bringing us into the understanding, too, that we're a global community. We're one family, and what happens over there affects what's happening here. And what's happening here affects what's happening over there. And indeed, we are all one family, whether we know it or not, whether we like it or not. That's how it is. There's good to be had that can come out of all of this, is coming out of all of this, for those who have eyes to see, ears to hear, and a heart that's open enough to receive the beautiful wisdom and the grace of it all. We are never left to our own devices. We are never left to our own devices to figure anything out. But the thing is, you and I are learning. We don't figure it out by going into a conundrum, by doing the Rodin thing, and forcing something or willing something, or by Jiminy Crickets, I'm going to figure it out. We figure it out by going quiet, by going silent, by listening to inner wisdom and its amazing, amazing ability to show us, to lead us, to guide us, to make it clear to us the why of it all, in a way that shows up in what and how. What and how. What it is that is mine to be, and how I may proceed to be that. And that's the story of Easter. It's just the story of love. And love is the most enlightening thing. And then within that, the container that contains all the goodies that go along with love, like forgiveness, like an open receptivity to everything and everyone, like a sense that I belong to everything and everyone, and everything and everyone belongs to me, that I'm connected to it all. And what does that do for me and for you? It takes us completely out of judgment. It takes us completely away from the nonsense of differentiating between this and that and the other and him and her and them and they and so on. All the nonsense. The good sense, the good sense. And you and I are not going to heal a darn thing for less the world if we don't first heal ourselves. If we're not going to be a light unto the world unless we're a light unto ourselves first. It's not going to happen unless you and I are in touch with the moreness of ourselves, with the truth of ourselves, with the real essence of ourselves, with the godliness of ourselves, the divinity of ourselves, so that we can marry that with the humanity of ourselves and come up with this beautiful combination that knows how to walk gracefully through the world in absolute faith, which shows up in courage, which shows up in service, which shows up in all those who are making the difference. Let us not forget those who are out in the front lines making the difference. Those who are doing it though they're afraid. They're feeling the fear and doing it anyway. They're showing up anyway to do all that they can do to combat this challenge that we're in and have us all triumph over it. All those who are serving in all kinds of capacities that are out there, remember them, remember them, remember them. They are you, they are me, they are us, we are one. And so we hold them closely in that love and in that protective grace that is ours to do. And my dear ones, you're making the difference under your own roof in your own home. It's the best thing people could do if you can stay at home. If you're able to stay at home, stay at home. Follow the protocols and be with yourself and be open and receptive to the delight of being able to be yourself. Why? Because yourself is amazing. Yourself is unique. Yourself is priceless. Yourself is needed, very much needed on this plane at this time. That's why you're here. You just are amazing. So it's given to you to amaze yourself. And this is an opportunity for you to do that. You can do far more, and I can do far more than we ever might have imagined in making the difference on this plane. Far more than we could ever imagine. And when I talk about imagining, do imagine. Please imagine. This is the time to imagine, to picture, to perceive, to vision, to see the world the way the world needs to be and how it can be. Picture it, picture it, picture it. Do those little meditations that we've just done and see it the way it is meant to be, the truth of it. See that. See your life the way you want your life to be, how your life can be. Take your mind off your problems and put your mind on good, good, good. The good that you desire. The good that you desire not just for yourself, but for all those whom you love and for everybody on this plane and everything on this plane. Do that. You are so deeply cherished and loved. You truly are. I can't convince you of that. You have to allow Spirit to convince you of that. You're not going to do that if you don't have a connection with your source. If you're not in company with your source, if you're not keeping company with your source, if you're not leaning into that embrace that's always leaning into you. And I'll keep saying it and saying it and saying it until I get it and we all get it. Because there's nothing else to say. Just trust your powerful presence within you. That is the moreness of you. That is the ableness of you. That is the courage in you. That is the truth in you, the wisdom in you, the goodness in you, the kindness in you, the givingness in you. And let us all do what Emerson asked us to do, very same thing as usually do. A reminder. Yes, I'm talking to you, each individual one of us. And by the way, for those of you who are looking in who have never looked in before, this is especially for you. You are blessed. You are unique. You're one of a kind. You're chosen, specifically chosen by Spirit, so that Spirit could know its own beautiful, graceful self by means of you, and so that Spirit could live through you in love, in sacred service, in beauty and grace on this plane, and be a very real and present help. So yes, you are a point of power, a point of light, through which the infinite, in all of its radiant magnificence, shines brightly when we allow it to. So to God always and ever, through each and every one of us, be the power and the glory, and that which uplifts and unifies all of life. That's today's message, and it comes to you from our community with great love and appreciation and gratitude. Enjoy the rest of this splendid day and make it the best Easter day ever. Why not?